March Madness is behind us, and after all the busted brackets, the surprises, and the high-level competition, we now have a new NCAA basketball champion team for both the men and the women. In the first quarter of 2017, we saw an interest rate increase. No surprise there. We saw gross domestic product, or GDP, a number many watch closely, revised upward from 1.9% to 2.1%. That was a bit of surprise, and we saw consumer confidence soar to a 15-year high. And things have been busy in Washington in terms of activity level. However, as we're now experiencing, changes in policy do not usually happen quickly. We've seen one much talked about policy change go by the wayside, the Affordable Care Act, at least for now. In February, I spoke about the anticipation of pro-growth policies out of Washington in the areas of tax reform, deregulation, and infrastructure spending. Yes, those changes are still anticipated, yet it's uncertain whether these will be accomplished, and just as important, in what timetable. That leaves us with fundamentals, much like the teams who were successful in their championship bids. Focusing on the fundamentals is a good place to focus our attention, and that's exactly what we're doing. Earnings are a fundamental measure of our economy's health, and they're improving. Productivity is a fundamental measure of our economy's health, and that's improving too. While our markets are responding to those fundamentals in a positive way, it's very possible that we may have gotten ahead of ourselves. My daddy used to say, "Sis, don't get the cart before the horse." And today we might say to our markets, don't get too much growth ahead of real policy change. That may be a setup for a normal market pullback. How much and when? Of course, we don't know the exact answers. I can point you back to 15 months ago, early 2016, when our markets had two significant double-digit pullbacks, yet 2016 ended on a positive note. Our portfolios are strategically allocated to remain invested through these times. So what are we watching now? Fed policy. It's more likely than not that more rate hikes are on the way. Policy in Washington. Will we get tax reform or deregulation that's meaningful? And the fundamentals, earnings and productivity. And we're watching for each of you. Your personal planning is the cornerstone and most basic fundamental that will help our clients make progress toward their goals. Please let us know what questions you may have and how we can help. Thank you for taking time to listen today.